All right, I'm gonna just wait till a few more people show up. I think my mom's gonna be joining. So I'm just gonna see if she can find her way here, and everyone else will start shortly. Oh, good. Hello. All right. All right, we're gonna get started. So, welcome to Saturday DIY. Today, we're gonna be making these hanging planter boxes. So, for Mother's Day weekend, so my mom's joining and I sent her a kit. So hopefully when she's done building, she can send me a picture I can share with you all, and I hope that you share pictures of your projects. If you have any questions or comments, just feel free to write them in the chats and I will try to keep an eye on those. Okay, I am here. Okay, cool. So we're gonna be making this planter box. And so as always, we're going to start by sanding the rough edges of our wood. So just like where the burrs are kind of on the edges, get those off of there. So we're using, or at least I'm using cedar wood because cedar is a good wood for outside. And you don't have to put a finish on it. It can just stay unfinished and still hold up pretty for a while outside. But if you want, you can also put a clear or a colored stain on it once you're done putting it together to help it last longer and to stay this color. Otherwise, it'll start to turn gray over time, which some people like. So you don't get too crazy with sanding, and especially cedar on like the faces, this one face is gonna be rougher than the other. So if you like the smoother finish, so instead of trying to sand off the rough side, just maybe sand a little bit on the smoother side if you want to. Otherwise, you can just not worry about that right now and sand that face when you're done putting it together. Okay. Crazy on the sanding so we can keep moving forward. Just generally a good idea to sand your pieces before you put them together because it's a lot easier to get all the edges that were cut. You can do this with a power sander as well, but I think it's just as easy to start doing some quick sands. I'm using a sanding sponge, but you can use sandpaper or sanding block. Okay, so let me know when you get done sanding if you are following along. The other things you are going to want to make sure you have are your nails, which can be galvanized or stainless steel, and they should be 1.5 inches long. They could be a little bit shorter, like I've used 1.25 inches, but the longer is a little bit better to keep the project holding together longer. And then you'll need to make sure you have your chain and your screw hooks, hammer, and your drill, and drill bits. We're running kind of a variety of drill bits here. So the first size of drill bits you'll want to use are for pre-drilling your holes for your nails so that the wood is less likely to want to split, and it'll help you start your nails. So you're going to take your nail and find your drill bit that matches the same diameter of the shank of the nail. So let's see. I think I might use, let's see, either a 16th or next step up. I think I'm just going to use a 16th. That's kind of my go-to. It's a little smaller. I could use the next one, but that'll help it grab onto both layers of the wood. Okay, is everyone done sanding? Type in the comments if you are done, or if you need more time, please. This is so weird to do this on video, but it's all good. Okay. Can't wait till we get to be back in person working together, but for now, we'll just keep doing these. Okay, so you're gonna set your square pieces aside. So the 3 pieces of wood that are squares, set those aside. And then we're gonna take our rectangle pieces, and those are gonna be the ones we're going to pre-drill our holes for our nails. So basically, these side pieces nail into the square pieces that go on the other sides. So if you start your nails for 2 nails to go in the side, each side piece, and then 2 nails to go into the bottom piece, and we'll do that on both sides. So 6 nails per piece. Then we can just nail it all together, and that's all the nails we need. We really only need 12 nails. If you want to use more than that, that's fine. So what we're going to do is, if you have a tape measure and you want to measure, you can, to make sure your nail is going to be going in the right spot, you can measure in, depending on your thickness of your wood. My wood is 3/4 of an inch thick, so I'd want to mark in 3/8 of an inch. So that's half of 3/4. So you can do that, or you can take one of your pieces of wood. So this is one of my side pieces. You can take another piece that's thickness, and on the side you're going to want to put your nails. You can do that, and then you can draw a line. Take a pencil and draw a line like that. So I'm not going to do it because I don't want to have to sand it off later, but you can do that. And then you'll have a line that shows where you want to make sure that you don't put your nail in your hole on the inside of that line. So either measure or use this technique, or just eyeball it if you feel like you can eyeball 3/8 of an inch. And then ideally, I'm going to grab a piece of scrap wood. If you have a piece of scrap wood floating around, you can use that. Or you can also drill off the side of a table. So I don't want to be drilling into when I work at this table because it's just a plastic table, so I don't really want to be drilling into it. So I'm just going to use this piece of wood underneath to drill my holes. So I'm going to decide if I want to put the smooth side out or the rough side out. So this is important. So before you start drilling, think about what side you want to face out, if you want rough or smooth. And then just make sure that you are drilling from, like, with the side that's going to be facing out, facing up. So if I want the rough side out, I want to have the rough side facing up when I'm drilling. So, so many choices. Let's see, I think I have a couple comments. Okay. I think everyone's with me. Okay, so, I think I'm gonna do smooth side out this time. I usually do rough side out, but let's do smooth side. So I'm gonna drill 2 holes on this side, 2 holes here, and then 2 holes on the bottom. And I just like to kind of space them, like have one close to the top, like one close to each edge. And then just bear in mind that the bottom ones are going to need to be set in from the ends a little bit more, because you're going to have your side pieces coming in like that. So if you're like, I don't, just give me a number, just measure down maybe an inch in from each end for the side pieces, and then maybe do 2 inches in from the end on the bottom. Okay. Maybe I'll just measure 2 just for fun. I've just gotten so used to eyeballing that it makes it easier. But it looks kind of nice when you're, like, if I were maybe selling these, I would maybe try to make my nails look like they are all aligned. Let me know if you have questions. Obviously, I'm also recording this, so it'll be available via my page and YouTube, and eventually on my website as well. Okay, so again, that's 3 inches in from the side, from the edge, like all the way around. And then so many measurements. I'm not sure if I specified this. I have a DIY guide, and I'm not sure if on there it says where exactly to mark your holes. Okay. All right, so I'm gonna start drilling. So just again, quick drill tips. Make sure your drill is in forward and not reverse when you're trying to drill into your wood. So there's usually a button somewhere right about here that's on the right side. You press it in and it's forward. On the left side, it's reverse. And then for this, make sure it's on the drill bit setting. And then, I don't know, I'm not like a drill master. Just kind of figure out, every drill is a little bit different for how fast you want to set it. So you probably could set it on kind of like a medium setting. Like I'm just going to put mine on 12. So for this, it doesn't really matter too much unless the drill stops going when it's in there. So check your battery or check your speed setting if it's not wanting to go. And then just make sure you drill straight up and down so you don't break your drill bit. And again, when I drill, I just keep it in forward the whole time, keep the trigger pressed. So it just keeps, the bit just keeps spinning. If you want, when you get it in, you can push reverse and pull it out. So I'll just show you that example. So I have it in forward, drill in, and then put it in reverse, drill out. So you can do that if that works for you. I like to just keep it in forward, just because it's a little faster. you're drilling all the way through your wood. So your piece will have, I don't know if you can see all the holes, but once you have your 6 holes drilled, 2 on the sides, 2 on the bottom, then do the same thing on your other piece. I'm going to mark mine again so I have consistent looking nail locations. Okay, and I have one mark, so I'm going to start drilling. Again, I'm doing smooth side out, so that's the side I marked my holes on. Great. So I have both my pieces, my holes drilled in them. And then from there, you are going to want to start your nails. So you can do this on your scrap piece of block or just on your work surface, either way. So you just want to show you. Oh, a little bit too far. So I just want to get my nail started so it's almost all the way through, but not quite. And actually, if you do poke them through and you need to back them out, just flip it over and just do what I did and pound it back out. So that's actually good. Dulling the tip of the nail can also help keep the wood from splitting. So that's another little trick that you can try. So if you do, you can hammer yours in a little bit so they go a little bit farther and then hammer them back out just to dull the tips a little bit. But really it's, I don't know, it doesn't happen that often. Like, I think for this side, depending on your size of nail and where it is in the wood, it is pretty close to the edge, but that's because we pre-drilled to help the wood from splitting. So I'm not going to guarantee that it won't, but just some tricks you can decide if you want to do them or not. I didn't bring a little pliers up. If you want help holding the nails, you can use the pliers. I have a different tool, which I guess you could use for that. It's kind of big, but hold the nail as you're pounding so you are less likely to hit your fingers. Okay, so once you have one piece done, should look like that. So I've got 6 nails in there. And I'm going to do the same thing with my other piece. reason we are doing all this before we actually are sticking pieces of wood together is because it makes it a lot easier to actually assemble this piece to the next pieces of wood once we already have our nails started on these pieces. Okay, so let me know if you need more time, and if not, we will keep going. You ready? Okay, we're gonna keep going. So from here, I'm going to want to make sure I find my piece that I want for the bottom and set it aside, which I think is going to be that one for now. Well, actually, set two of these aside. Make sure you know which one's your bottom. Maybe it's the one that doesn't look as nice as the rest. So I like to have my nicer pieces facing out. Actually, I did like the, kind of wish I would have done this differently because I like the outside grain colors of these, but it's pretty cool. Cedar's pretty cool. Okay. So now, if you have another prop or something that can help hold your wood, that can be useful. So because we are going to be attaching two pieces of wood together like this, so I might actually use my other piece. If you have a helper, or you can kind of use your other piece of wood to balance too. I always say that because you probably don't already have one of these made. So, and then just check your grain. So my grain on my horizontal on my rectangle piece is going this way. And so when I turn the corner, I want to have, I mean, this is more my personal preference, but I want to have my grain also running horizontal instead of being vertical. So check your grain, your wood, and then make sure if you have smooth side out, the smooth side is facing out, and if rough side out is, you want rough side out, the rough side is facing out. Okay. Also, if you have a clamp, you could clamp this together as well, but I'm just gonna do it by hand. And this is definitely, the first piece is definitely the hardest, getting it all lined up. So you want to make sure that your end piece and your side piece are flush on the side and on the top and the bottom. So the wood might vary a little bit in thickness, possibly. So just try to get it as close as you can to being flush. Okay, so once you have that, and then try to make sure that this is pretty close to being square, so you can just kind of eyeball that. And then just start your first nail going a little bit, like take a couple hammers to it to get the nail to go through this piece into the other piece. I like to not go all the way because then look at mine just shifted, so I'm going to try to actually pound that down a little bit. This is like the hardest part. I'm going to actually just scrap my other piece of wood. I'm just going to hold on to it. Okay, and I'm going to start my other nail. still lining up. And then keep hammering them in. It's really hard to hammer on a bouncy surface, so I might just take this to the floor really quick. Yay, it's together. Okay, so again, that was the hardest piece to get in. So now I'm going to take my bottom piece and put it on. So I'm just going to keep my grain running the same horizontal this way just to match everything, even though that one doesn't matter as much because it is on the bottom. And I'm just going to check my other end piece right now to see where we're at. Okay, so I'm just going to make sure this bottom piece is lined up with the two sides to make sure it's flush. And then I'm going to start my nails. So I'm going to put some pressure down on it so it tries not to move. Just going to check it a little bit. I'm going to get my other nail started. All right, I'm just going to move to the floor because this is really hard to do on this table. So then we have our bottom piece on, and then we will move to our other side piece. Again, check your grain, make sure it's lining up how you want. Lines up flush. Okay. So hard. I need to build myself a better work surface. All right. Floor again. Okay. So now I have all my sides put together. Bam. Well, not all my sides, three of my sides on my bottom. So then we are going to put on the other piece with all the nails that were started. Oh, make sure you get it lined up so that your bottom nails are actually going to go into your bottom piece and not what I just did and put them on the top. That's not really quite where I wanted that. Oh, the challenges of bouncy surfaces. Okay, so I'm just going to pound that back out. If that happens to you, just pound it out and then start a different nail. Okay, that went where I wanted, so then I'll just move over. I'll not pound that one all the way in quite yet. And then I will go over here. looks like I am battling some squareness. To try to get that worked out. Okay. Do that. Sometimes your project might not be quite square, so you might have to pound on it a little bit to get it to go where you want it to go. That's why I don't like to put all my nails all the way in all the time, just to get them started. Almost my finger. Okay, I think we're good. Hard to do. All right, next time I'm gonna have to try to remember clamps. Yeah, I think we. Usually not this hard. I'm not sure what's going on, but I think these square pieces might just not be very flat. Last side. Okay, I'm gonna do my final pounding on the ground. And now I have a 5-sided box. Bam. Okay, so from here, we're gonna flip it upside down so we have our bottom piece facing, our bottom facing up. And then we are going to switch out our drill bits and pick a bit for some drainage holes. So I'll leave it up to you, but I'm going to use an 1/8 inch drill bit. And I think I'm just going to drill maybe 4 or 5 holes in the bottom. Done. So we have our our box put together. We have our drill holes in the bottom. So next we are going to get ready to attach our chain. And so we're going to use our screw hooks for this. You could also use the screw eye hooks that are completely closed, but then you need to have pliers to open up your chain. So that's kind of nice because it makes it a little bit more secure. But you can also, on these ones, you can clamp them shut with pliers as well. So either way, we're just using screw hooks today. The screw eyes are the ones that are all the way closed. So especially if you have a really windy location, you might want to use your screw eyes instead of screw eye hooks, or try to close these ones up a little bit more. So we are going to put our hooks in the middle of our long rectangle pieces. So I'm going to grab my tape measure and a pencil and figure out where that is. So my end pieces are 7 inches long. So half of that are 3.5. So I'm gonna make a mark at 3.5, and then I'm gonna make a mark at the thickness of the wood, which my wood is 3/4, so again, we're gonna be at 3/8. Make a mark there. Then do that on the same side, or sorry, the other side. 3.5, 3/8. Okay. So I have my marks, and then you'll need to take your hooks and figure out your thickness of your shank of where the screw part is to make sure that your drill bit is going to be the right size. So you can see there's the, zooming in and out, but there are the threaded part, and then the inner solid shank part. So you'll want to make sure you find your drill bit that is just the width of the shank part. So I will find one and then I'll show you. So, let's see if I can do this. So you can still see, when you hold up the drill bit, you can still see the threads to the outside. So I could use that one, or I could probably even just use a little bit smaller if you're concerned about these pulling out. That would work too. I might actually use that one just to have the threads grab the wood a little bit more. I really should have talked about switching out your drill bits earlier. I like to just do it to change them out by using the power of the drill. You can also, so I put it in reverse and hold onto the chuck to open up. Now I don't have to go that far, but sometimes you have to really change it. So open it up to release it, and then put the new one in, put it in forward, hold onto the chuck, and then put the trigger in until it tightens. So for these, you have to think about how deep these are going to go into your wood. So looks like about 1/2 inch is where the threads are going towards, maybe 5/8. So like 5/8. So if you want, and you have a piece of tape handy, you can measure up the thickness or the length of your thread. So for me it'd be 5/8 inch, and then put a piece of tape around your drill bit so that you know when to stop drilling into your wood. I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to pull my screw hook up to my bit and just see how far. So it looks like for me, with where I've moved the drill bit, it is going to be about half the way. The other thing you can do is you can actually put your drill bit, push it in, and for me actually, if I push it all the way in, it's actually just about the exact length I need to drill. So maybe I'll just do that. That also helps have more of the drill bit into the chuck so it doesn't want to break as easily. So I will do that. Let's see, do I have a question? Oh, no, we're good. Okay. So then I'm going to find my holes, my marks, and drill my holes. Okay. And then from here, you'll take your screw hooks and by hand push it into the hole and then start twisting. So you have to push down and twist at the same time. And generally cedars are pretty soft wood, so you should be able to just do this by hand, but as it gets deeper in there, it might get harder, so you can use like a pencil or a screwdriver to help twist it in, depending on, especially with the screw eyes, they make it a little bit easier. It's kind of hard to keep your pencil from slipping out this way, but, and then I like to put my screw hooks facing out so that when the chain is, when it's hanging, it's less likely to want to come off of the hook part. So I'm going to do that. Got that one. I did not screw very straight, but for this, it doesn't really matter. Trying to screw straight up and down is ideal, but it's not always necessary. I think my eye has this weird slant to it, or not weird, but it just has I always tend to drill a little bit at an angle naturally, and I bet, yep, both of these are the same. So unless I really watch it, it usually ends up being a little bit angled. But anyway, so once you have those in, then you can add your chain on, and then hang it. So if you want, you can use a pliers. This is actually an adjustable tool, so try to close that a little bit and see if we can. Sometimes it's not easy to do that. Maybe at like the right perfect angle. Oh yeah, there we go. I don't go too much because I don't want to possibly break it. Slippery. Okay, so there we go. Now it's a little bit more secure. The hooks are a little bit more closed. And now you can fill it with soil and put a plant in it and yeah, watch it grow or have a pretty flower, or I don't know. So fun little easy box project. So thanks for joining me today for our hanging planter DIY for Mother's Day. So you let me know if you have any questions, or if you're not done yet, you want me to stick around. Otherwise, I think we are all done. The other thing you can do if you want, just for finishing, you can do some final sanding of the edges and maybe the faces, and then again, if you want to stain it or you can paint it, you can do that, or you can just leave it the raw wood and let it turn gray over time. So yeah. All right, thank you. Bye. Oh, I don't know how to do this.